Wow, do I ever have a jam-packed show for you this weekend here on the Joan Jerkovich Show on 1150 KSAL. In this first hour, we're going to be talking to Jessica, who wants to get her dream job, and then there's Luke, who's coming out of the military trying to find the civilian job, very highly qualified, but still trying to figure out how to stand out in those large numbers of people vying for the same job. And then coming up in the next hour, we're going to talk to Sam. He's a CEO type, fascinating caller, because he wanted to talk about what has he been doing wrong, what kind of introspection should he be thinking about, looking at himself and his behavior on the job, because he keeps getting fired. Smart guy, but smart to be thinking in this direction. And that's kind of what I want to talk about right now as we open the show for today. I want to talk about what are some of those reasons that you get fired. And believe it or not, there is a website called beingfired.com. Who sets these things up? But anyway, beingfired.com gives us 10 reasons that you could get fired. Here's one: high absenteeism rate, or being late often. Think about it. The company owns your time. When you sign on to work for them, they own that time. That's the time that you're getting paid for. So in other words, you're expected to be to work on time. You're expected to be there when you're scheduled. You're expected to work the shift and the entire shift and not bug out or try to leave all the time. Now, maybe some companies have some looser guidelines for this, and that's okay. You'll know whether it is or not. But a lot of times companies are going to say also that if you're late or absent from work for even just 3 work days, you're out. Be mindful of being to work when you're scheduled and not being late. Next one is performing your tasks either too slowly or you make a lot of errors. If you're performing well, you're okay. You're doing okay with your job. But if you're being sloppy and inefficient, it's not going to cut it. You might be getting the axe. Likewise, if you're being asked to do your work over and over, you're going to probably expect to get fired, because if you can't figure out that you don't need to be told repeatedly what you're supposed to do and when you're supposed to do it, i.e. even getting it done in a timely manner and without errors, you're kind of on the chopping block. So be careful with that one. One that can come up because maybe you bragged a little too much in your interview or a little something on your resume that wasn't maybe quite true. You just can't get the work done. You don't either have the skills or what it takes to get the task done, so you'd better step it up or you're, again, at risk for losing the job. Let's say you have inconsistent and unreliable work behaviors. Now, you can have an off day, but you can't expect that to be every day. That should be a rare occasion where maybe you were a little late in getting something done or something else wasn't really falling into place for you. Again, that should be pretty rare. Both your behaviors at work and the productivity should be pretty constant and stable. They should be consistent. And sometimes if you have those ups and downs going on, hide them from the bosses, hide that bad mood, and put a smile on your face. So what do you think's going to happen if you refuse to follow the directions and orders? Your boss tells you how to perform a task and you just simply refuse to do it, and maybe you have to be told several times, then you're probably going to be the one looking for a job. Now, if you're being asked to do something that's illegal, unethical, or immoral to you, yes, you do have a right to take a personal stand, but that needs to be discussed with your employer. Let's say you're that person who can't get along with others. This is called social IQ, and it does affect your abilities at work. You have to learn how to be civil with people, whatever your personality. You can be a little more quiet or shy or more outgoing, but you have to be able to get along with people. You can't start arguments, have fights, or management will be the one that's moving you on out the door. It stands to reason that you can't come to work drunk or high on drugs or alcohol. Yes, that could be an instant termination. And you can't be dishonest. You can't be stealing from the company. And also this pertains to, you need to protect the company information that you know is copyrighted or trademarked. Maybe the company manuals are something that are trademarked or copyrighted. Those can be immediate termination as well. It's considered espionage and company theft. Now, sometimes we think about company theft as something different, but yes, falsifying your timesheets, falsifying your expense reports are company theft. Obviously, taking materials and equipment or using them inappropriately, such as you can't use the copier to promote your garage sale or make some copies of something personal and Not that you maybe can't, but you certainly should ask before doing so. This also includes time you talk on the phone, surf the internet, sit on Facebook or Twitter. Those things can get you fired. Do not conduct personal business that's not work-related while on the job. And do not lie on your resume. They're like the legal documents that talk about your experience, your skills, your schooling, your background. And if you are being found that you are falsifying the information, you could be fired for fraud. Now stay with me as we talk to our callers, but I'm also going to tell you there are 5 things that you do not want to do should you get fired or when you leave a job. That's coming up here on the Joan Jerkovich Show on News Radio 1150 KSAL.